Welcome to Cognitive Sports Therapy's video this week, and it's a time to talk session, and I'm Nicola and this is...
I'm Lucy.
And my specialism is obviously the exercise. Lucy brings you yoga, but we're joining forces this week to bring the theme of talking with each other and exercising and movement at the same time, because sometimes it helps us open up a little bit more. It's obviously also nice to have company and motivation from each other, so that's what we're aiming for this week.
Yeah, so Nick has prepared this little exercise sequence, so I don't know what I'm in for, but I'm going to do my best. I hope you will join in with us. We're just in my living room at home, nowhere fancy, so just get a little bit of space, maybe a bottle of water, and just have fun.
If you have a mat handy, that's great, because we're doing a little bit of mat work, but if you don't, you're absolutely fine, no equipment needed. Alright, so we'll start with our warm-up.
Okay.
So I'm going to start with our feet hip width apart, and then we're just going to bring one foot towards the other. Simple step touch, just like so, that's it. And when you've got that movement, nice and synchronised. Get the arms going as well. So we just aim to get the heart rate up a little bit, and then we'll get into kind of the body of the workout. So one of the things I know you've been aiming for, Lucy, this year is to combine your exercise with a little bit more socialisation as well. So tell me a bit about that.
Yeah, so I recently got back into running.
Heels to bottoms, hamstring curl.
And I think I've always run on my own because I seem to have this little fear around, running with other people. But this year I decided that if I'm going to be running a couple of times a week, then I want to make at least one of those runs like a social connection. So I've been going out once a week with a friend to run, and oh my gosh, I love running anyway, just being outside, but actually having somebody there with you, it's just so lovely.
It is, and it really kills two birds with one stone, doesn't it?
It's so nice.
Catching up with a friend and getting your movement for the day.
It's so lovely.
Back into that step touch.
I really feel like I've overcome a bit of a fear with it, and yeah, you run with people all the time, don't you?
Yes, and I've organised groups and things like that.
Yeah.
And I think one of the things that people worry about with going out running, particularly with somebody, is about the pace and keeping up or holding them back or not getting enough of a workout themselves. But when you think about it in terms of you're getting your exercise, just bring heels to bottoms again, you're getting your exercise as well as getting your social connection. It's catching up with a friend instead of having cake and coffee, maybe.
Yes.
It's good for you. It's really good for you.
It is, and actually we went for a run together on
We
Friday.
did.
And I previously never would have gone for a run with you, because I would have thought, I can't run fast enough, or what if I'm too out of breath to talk and contribute to a conversation. But we had such a nice time, didn't we?
Totally.
I mean, we talked about so many things.
And there's different aims for different types of exercise sessions, right?
Yes,
So if the aim
exactly.
for the session is getting out there, getting some fresh air, getting some movement, and seeing your friend, then that's what the focus is. Not about interval training or doing sprints and things. So.
Exactly. But I think in terms of my mental health and doing something really positive for it, ticking the box of exercise, outside, and then social connection too.
Yeah.
And one thing I've learned is if you ask lots of questions, you get the other person talking.
You're so right. That was your plan, was it?
Yeah, that was my plan.
Brilliant. All right, so we should feel a little bit warmer.
Yeah, definitely.
Perhaps a little bit more breathy. So we'll start with our first movement. I'm just going to demonstrate it first for you. So the low impact version, we're going to take a step to the side like so, and then at the end we're just going to tap down to the floor in a squat, come back up, and then we're going to move across the room again like so, tap to the floor, come up. Higher version, you'll do a little skip and a jump like so, a little skip and a jump like so. So if you're working out with your friend, you've got to make sure that you're coordinated.
But we're going to try this.
So Lucy's going to stay back, I'll come forward. Let's start in the middle. And we're going to do 45 seconds, okay guys?
So which way are you going, Nick? Left?
I'm going to go left.
And I'll go right.
Ready?
Okay. Yes.
Set. Let's go. Excellent. Lovely. So you can see that if it starts out fine, but then you end up being a bit out of breath, it feels too hard, you can absolutely slow it down and do the low version like so. If you want to do a slightly less deep squat, also so, okay. And if you end up uncoordinated with your partner, also okay. A fantastic view back there.
So Nick, you run Buddy Boot Camp, and we go through different phases in life, don't we? Where
Absolutely.
yeah, and being a new mum, that's sometimes quite tricky to fit in your exercise and finding people in a similar sort of situation as you.
I think you're right, and rest there. I think one of the most important things about Buggy Boot Camp is not necessarily the exercise.
Yeah.
It is the bringing together of new mums, because
Yeah.
as we know, and as you know if you're a mum, you can become very isolated, and I think bringing together like-minded people in a group like that is really important. Let's set up the next exercise and I'll carry that on. So our next one, guys, you're going to come into a plank position. If you'd like to bring your mat out, and you absolutely can. Do you want to bring your mat out?
No, I'm good for this
You're
one.
good for the plank?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to show you the lower version. Lucy's volunteers to do the higher version. So, plank on your knees like so, okay? And then we're going to bring one hand to the opposite shoulder like so. So your hands are going to be all the way under your shoulders, okay? And you get a good angle between your hips and your knees like so. If you're an absolute beginner and just starting out, you want to make sure that you bring your knees underneath your shoulders like so. Squeeze your tummy in, tilt your pelvis under so your back's flat, and then lift and lower one hand at a time. If you want to try the harder version, you're going to come in full plank position, but have your feet slightly wider than you would normally, to give you a nice solid base, okay? And then from here, tight tummy, and lift and lower each hand like so. So actually, if you want to do this while I chat, that's perfect.
Okay, perfect.
All right, set yourself up into that plank position, either on your knees in that box position or on your toes. 45 seconds, off we go. So, it's not always just about the exercise, but an exercise is a really good way to connect with people. So you might find that if you've moved to a new town or a new village, joining a fitness class or even joining a sports team like a netball team or a badminton club or something like that, again, it gets you moving, which is good for your mental health and a feel-good factor, but it also introduces you to people who are of a similar mindset to you. Okay, so you could do a group that appeals to your age group specifically, or the fact that you are a new mum, or the fact that you're recently retired. It could be any of those things, but that they appeal to people of a similar kind of interest group as you, because then you can build on your friendships in that way, which is really, really nice. Well done, we've got another 10 seconds there. I'll join you for the last few. So what kind of groups have you joined that have hit kind of two birds with one stone, if that makes sense?
Well,
what worked for you?
I think, I've always loved sort of exercise and doing various different things. But then as a yoga
and rest there.
yoga teacher, it tends to be kind of more, yoga classes and things like that. But, I think it can be quite intimidating, can't it, going to a new group thing. And so I know we both subscribe to the same viewpoint that, we meet everyone where they are. It's very important to make people kind of feel welcome and
inclusive, yeah.
No pressure as well. I think that's the thing.
Yeah.
And so I will only kind of work at studios and things that will do the same kind of thing, where everyone is welcome.
Yeah, exactly what you mean. So setting up the next one, we're going to do some tricep dips to work this back part of our arm here, and there's two different levels of this, so I will show you the first level. So you're going to have your fingers facing towards your toes, just tucked behind your hips and slightly widen your hips, and then you're going to bend your arms so that your elbows come as close to the floor as you can before they touch, and then you're going to push yourself back up through the heel of your hand, okay? Trying to keep your feet on the floor, and you will feel it in your tummy a little bit too, but aim to feel at the back of your arms there. The next level up will be to lift your bottom off, bend your elbows, and tap through like so. So it's definitely an elbow bend, not a pelvic thrust.
Do you want a mat, or are you okay with that one?
I'm good with this one.
Okay,
yeah,
cool.
So you can choose whichever one you'd like to do, and we'll aim 45 seconds.
Well, I'll start with the harder one, and then maybe we
I'll
can
join you. The thing is, if you are chatting, sometimes you need your breath to chat rather than do the workout, so we can have to do a little bit of both.
Yeah, exactly.
So, like you say, your thing's always been yoga. Mine has generally been group sports, so netball was my thing when I was younger, and then when I moved to the States and there was no such thing as netball, I joined triathlon club, because that was a way to meet people who I had something in common with. They pushed me to be better, but also there's always somebody who matched me pace-wise and things, so it was a really good way of encouraging me to go. So for motivation as well, it's really good to join a group.
So
Carry on with that. That's it, well done. Excellent. So we're now doing the lower version, if that's what you prefer.
And I think that's nice though, so from a young age, you know, you sort of had that exposure to, you know, being part of a group and doing, because it can make you feel quite vulnerable, can't it, when you start sort of doing something new and perhaps, you know, you're not sure what to expect. So being able to do things with a friend is so important, isn't it?
Yeah. And last one, very much so. But it also gives you a chance to come out of that friendship circle. Yeah. So it gives you, trying new exercises and exercise classes and perhaps group sport, gives you a chance to reach into different friendship groups. Because you never know too many people really, can you?
No, and I think what I like about it as well in terms of the talking aspect of it is it's not intense. Like sometimes when you're sitting in a room with someone and you're having a cup of tea and you're making eye contact, that can sometimes be quite a lot, can't it? Whereas when you're out like having a run or a walk or whatever it is, it's just a little bit more kind of relaxed, I always think.
It's why all the best conversations happen in the car when you're sitting next to the person.
Yes!
It's not kind of intimidating, it's that kind of feeling, isn't it? So our next one, guys, of this set is to be on our hands and knees, or hands and feet. So Lucy's just getting the mat out here for the ones on the knees. Lovely. Actually, we can both do this one. So just to show you guys, it's a mountain climber. So let me demonstrate one here. So if you're going to be on your knees, have that nice angle again between your hips and your knees, your shoulders directly over your hands. And from here, you're going to extend one leg behind you, bring it in towards your nose and place it down. And then you're going to alternate legs, okay? So a mountain climber works your abs and your shoulders significantly. And also it becomes cardio. So the high version, you'll be on your toes like so, in a nice strong plank position. One knee comes in towards the chest. Your weight is forward over your hands, okay, at this level. And then the next level up will be to run it out. Back's nice and flat, like so. That 45 seconds will feel long in that position. So again, mix and match as you need to.
Okie dokie.
So, 45 seconds, gang. Set up, we've got 5 here.
I'll start with
3,
the low.
2, 1, off we go. That's it, lovely. So yes, so like you were saying, Lucy, the conversations perhaps aren't going to be deep. They're not going to be, you know, really heartfelt the first few times, but just to make connections, to have a laugh, to giggle at yourself.
Yes.
Are all things that company gives you that it's hard to create on your own, right?
Exactly. And also I think, you know, when you do try something new for the first time, it is a little bit scary. But I spoke to a couple of people about this. And one of my friends that I asked to go for a run with me, she said, oh my gosh, I'm so glad I said yes, because I've always been terrified of running with someone else. And I just think, sometimes we assume that we're the only ones that have these fears or worries, and actually if we just ask other people, they'll often open up to us.
Absolutely. And even the people who you think are super speedy, they don't run at a super speedy pace every time they go out, for example. They're quite happy to have a leisurely, you know, chat and catch up while they get some exercise. So I think it's lowering the expectations for yourself, and having that confidence in yourself that you'll be accepted, whatever pace, whatever fitness level you are. I think that's very much part of it.
Absolutely. And the other thing that I've really found nice is the accountability aspect of it, because there have been some really cold days so far this year, and if it hadn't been for the fact that I'd made the arrangement with someone else, I probably may not have gone.
It's so true. It's definitely motivating. If you set that time and that appointment, you're much more likely to turn up and get it done than if you say, oh, I should run on Sunday at 10. And that's just yourself trying to do that.
Yeah.
And the rest of the family's there having pancakes, whatever, not likely to go.
No,
because if your friend's going to be waiting for you down the end of the street, you can't stand them up, can you?
No, and I always used to do the park run.
This is an official rest, by the way. We're moving on to the next set in just a sec.
A park run was good for that as well, because I would do park run with a friend as well. This was quite a long time ago, actually. And I think that was always, you know, some of those really muddy, cold, freezing mornings. If she wasn't coming up the street in her car to pick me up, I may not have made it up there.
Yeah, it makes all the difference.
Yeah.
And obviously, if you're new to a neighbourhood or new to a community, you might not have that friend to come pick you up. So taking yourself to that group, signing up to perhaps a block of classes is another way to motivate yourself to turn up regularly, I think.
I agree, yeah.
And seeing the same faces day in, day out, you know, each week or whatever, however frequency you do those classes, that gives you a sense of belonging. And generally, people are very welcoming.
Yeah, I think they are, and I think also just
you ready for the next step?
Making yourself a priority in that sense as well. You know, prioritising your physical health, but knowing that by doing that you're also prioritising your mental health. And social connection is a really big part of that.
It really is. Even if you have a big family at home, or it's just important to maintain that sense of self as well.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's okay to leave your children, leave your husband or your partner, whoever is at home, to have that hour for yourself regularly. It's important to make those connections individually.
Absolutely.
Right. Your first exercise of this next set, you're going to do a squat. So you're going to tap down to the ground, get nice and low, and as you come up, you're going to lift one leg out to the side. Okay, so down, one leg out to the side. So you're going to keep your chest up, so keep looking straight ahead at the screen. That's it, and tap out to the side. So actually, join me when you're ready.
Okay, cool.
Lovely. Let's do 45 here.
But yeah, I mean, over the years, I've been to lots of different places and tried lots of different things. And, you know, being completely honest, it hasn't always felt good. And I think it's just, you know, sometimes you have to think, right, well, that's just not for me then. I'm just going to, but to not be put off.
I think that's really important, to acknowledge that actually it's not always going to work. But then, like you say, not to give up.
Yeah, exactly.
So try something else. Well done. 3, 2, last one. How are your buttocks?
Good.
Right, the next one you can have a mat out or not. We're going to be on the floor for this next one. It's the bridge with the sit-up.
Oh, I'm going to use a mat for
Please
this.
do.
Got another one. I've just got an endless supply of mats. Let's have a little chat about online stuff as well as we move through this one. So you do the demo.
Let me just demonstrate this one for you. So we're going to be laying on our backs like so. We're going to combine a glute bridge with a sit-up, okay? So have your feet slightly further than you would away normally for a bridge. I'm going to get slightly more into the hamstrings here. So you're going to push through, roll your pelvis up, push your hips to the sky. You're aiming to get your hips and your knees and your shoulders in a nice straight line. Lower your bottom down, and then you're going to try and come all the way up, reach to the sky, and roll back down again. So we're going to alternate between one and the other.
Are you sure you're okay?
I think I'm there.
Okay.
The other version is to bring your feet a little bit closer. This is slightly easier, and then you can reach to your knees instead, like so. Okay, so we're just going to run through 45 seconds, alternating through those.
Awesome.
Yeah, is that good?
Okay. Well, I'm going to talk actually. I think.
Okay, brilliant.
Yeah, so why don't you take the mat then?
Off we go.
Me and my mat.
Comfy.
So I was, you know, one of the things I've loved about online teaching and coaching over the last 2 years, you know, a lot of stuff has gone online. I'm still teaching 3 classes a week online.
Yeah.
Is that whilst it's, you know, it's sort of slightly off topic in that very often if you're doing something online, you're doing it at home on your own. But it's a nice way to try something from the comfort of your own home.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you're worried about sort of, you know, going out into a studio or into a gym or whatever. And ultimately we know that our body does benefit from movement. So also getting I do a lot with my friends online as well. So we'll sign up to the same class.
Yes.
And I've got a friend in Italy and we go to the same class on a Wednesday night. And you know, that's really, really lovely. And so if you've got friends that are kind of not local, have a look at what's online. Or if you know, your mum, I do some things with my mum online, you know. If it's not easy to sort of go somewhere with people that you're really good friends with because they're not local, have a look at what's online as well, because that can sometimes be nice.
Totally agree. I actually do a fantastic Saturday morning dance class.
Oh, you do, don't you?
Which I can give you the link to. And it's always the same people, and there's always a theme, so we get to dress up as well. And the 2 great things about that is that you can dance and be ridiculous in your own living room. Plus you can dress up in whatever you've got in the house and also look ridiculous. And there's only the people on the screen that can see you, or you can turn the screen off and just have fun by yourself. So it ticks so many boxes. So that's definitely something I'd recommend as well. It's sticking to those online classes, if that's what you're comfortable with, we can march and chat. So 45 seconds, really simply, march or jogging on the spot. So there we go, 45 seconds here. But yeah, there's a real mix of things you can do. And as things are opening up and we're getting back into more kind of regular activities, more things that we're used to, there's going to be an overlap. So stick with some of the things you've enjoyed so far, and now's perhaps the time to go and try something new.
Yeah,
because there's so many things coming up again, aren't there?
Yeah, but it's also okay, you know, if you want to take it, if you're not there yet, take it slowly. But like with, I found just having like a little goal this year, something really, you know, nothing too crazy, but just going out one run a week with a friend. And I've, you know, because it's something, you know, achievable, I've stuck with it, and it's just made the biggest difference.
And 3, 2, and 1. Lovely, guys. Last one of the set. We're going to have a nice wide squat. Let's do a nice sumo squat. So you're going to have a nice wide stance. Turn your toes out slightly so that your knees go out over your toes, keeping your knees nice and wide. We're going to pulse down, 1, 2, and then come up on the third. Okay, so this is the lower version. Going to bounce and then come up. And if you want to add a little bit, you can 1, 2, jump. 1, 2, jump. I don't know how much conversation we can have while we're doing those, to be honest. Ready? Off we go. So yes, harder work if you are doing the jump squat here. So maybe I'll do the chatting for this bit. So we're coming up to the end of this short workout, but I just wanted to show you a few ways in which we can, well, Lucy and I haven't hung out for a long time actually, so it's quite nice to see each other in person. And
Once on Friday, once today.
That's true, isn't it? Things are improving. So it's nice to plan the session together, film the session together, and have a chat about it afterwards. So,
but if you want any advice about where to go, or where, you know, classes and things like that, just get in touch with us, because, you know, we know a lot about what's going on.
Absolutely.
We're always happy to share with you.
And it doesn't have to be with myself or Lucy. You know,
no.
There are lots of professionals that we can recommend to you. And that can be in person, where you are, or online as well, as it overlaps. And it's this last one, guys. Woohoo!
Oh.
Resting. Brilliant! Felt
vanish.
I know! Felt like quite hard work.
Yeah, it was good.
Let's have a quick stretch, shall we?
Yes, definitely.
Okay. So 1 foot in front of the other. Let's straighten that front leg. Weight back on your back leg. That's it, lovely. Just bring your chest down towards your knee. And then if you lift your toe, that gets a little bit deeper through there. If you want to recover a little bit more before you start the stretching, please go ahead and just get your breath back. Have a little sip of water if you need. Otherwise, switch legs and join us with the stretch here. Lovely. So just trying to establish the stretch first, and then when you have got that, lift your toe. It takes it a little bit deeper into your calf and the back area of your knee there. I really enjoyed that, Lucy. Thank you.
No, thank you. I don't do enough of that kind of exercise, actually.
It's lovely. Gets your heart rate up, doesn't it? It gets you warm quite quickly.
It's good. Yeah. It's really good.
If you need to hold on to something, do hold on to the door, or if you can balance even better, you're going to grab your toes in one hand, bring your knees together, and just really try and squeeze that heel in towards the bottom there. That's it. Lovely. But as Lucy says, as always, just message us if you want any advice on how to reach out to new groups, or how to hook up with the Let's Go Girls, or
there's Couch to 5K running programs. You know, there's
switch legs.
There's so much out there, and a lot of it, you know, is not expensive. Some of it's free. So please, you know, don't feel like there are barriers. We can always try and help you overcome any of those sorts of barriers and things like that. But just finding something that you love, that you can connect with somebody else over. It's a really lovely thing, and just take away any pressure or expectation.
Well done. Bring one all across the front.
And just enjoy, you know.
And that's the expectations of yourself and the place that you're going, right? So just try and be open-minded and trust yourself, and go for it. It'd be amazing if you could write to us and tell us what you've signed up for as a result of this.
Yes, please do.
Or what you've roped a friend into. Maybe we'll hear from the friend.
Yeah.
That would be great. Lovely, guys. Shake it out, and you're done.
Oh, thanks, Nick. I like that. That was awesome.
Thanks,
everyone.
Thanks for joining us.
Take care.